This year we've had a ton of rain. I don't know if it's a certain tropical storm that came through or if it was just a really rainy year, but we've had lots of washout, and with all the runoff that comes from the back of the house and from the gutters from the house, the ditch is just full of water and it's cutting out the road and moving all the gravel off into the grass. So I was talking to my neighbor, and we're going to put one of those double-walled culvert pipes diagonally across the road to pull all of that water over into the ditch so it goes to the creek and doesn't wash out the road. So today I'm going to be measuring the diagonal across the road, and then going to be buying one of those pipe, and hopefully my neighbor will be up here with his machine and he'll cut the trench for me. I talked to him yesterday and he said he would be more than happy. So let's measure this out and see what we get. So my thoughts were that about where the end of this log is, we would cut across here and it would go diagonal over here where it's low. So I'm going to measure that out and we'll see just how long that is. Maybe a little bit more than 20 foot. So I may come up just a hair here. Let's see what that looks like. So I'm kind of liking more up here and diagonal over there. Maybe not quite as far and thus less expensive to buy that pipe. So let's measure this out. 20 feet of that pipe is going to run me right around $100 with taxes. So that's what I was trying to go with. We'll see how well we do here. Okay, there's 20 foot right there. So not quite enough. Let me see what we got to the ditch. "27 feet there. So honestly, I'm thinking I'm gonna have to have 30 foot of pipe. And that's actually what my neighbor was thinking, just off the top of his head, was 30 foot. So that gets us right here in the middle of the ditch to the ditch on the other side. I could probably shallow this up a little bit, but then again the water wouldn't flow as quickly. So I think 30 foot is what I'm going to have to go with. I want the end of the pipe to come out at this low spot here. So I'm going to take this old flag and get it pushed in here. Kind of. So we just put some rocks around it instead. There we go. And now I'm going to measure out 30 feet and get the other end of this pipe to see where the intake will be for this. Looks like about right here is 30 foot. So if my neighbor decides he wants to work when I'm not here, he'll have an idea of what I'm thinking about. I just got back from the local plumbing store and they had exactly 30 foot of this pipe, and the guy would not sell it to me unless I cut it into 10 foot lengths, because he said it was not safe to drive around with a 20 foot section of pipe on the top of my car, which was cool. I didn't mind, which also meant that I had to buy a coupling, because one pipe you can turn backwards and fit together, which I'll show you here in a bit, and the other one had to have a coupling to go into the second piece. You may have seen me use these straps before. I got these at Lowe's for like $10. Very handy. I have 2 packages of them and I use them all the time. Hopefully my car is level enough. These won't go sliding off. Wonder how heavy they are. I'd say probably 55 pounds. This piece and this piece were the same, just cut in half with a Sawzall. And this one right here has got a rubber gasket on it. So these two pieces can fit together, hopefully fairly easily. May have to push these against a rock or something. Let's try that. I didn't find a good rock, but I did find a nice log. Phone call. Yeah, I think we got it. Nice. Now the last piece. So it looks like we got some long zip ties. We'll find out what those are for here in a moment. 3 of them. Okay. And then this piece is not quite as nice as putting the 2 couplings together, but looks like it keeps 2 ribs each in here. I'm assuming each of these zip ties is going to go through these holes down here in this thing, like that, and then into the other side, and then just zip tight here. Keep it a little loose until I get all of them started. Give me some room to work with. Okay, there's that one. Well, turned it and I shouldn't have. There we go. Okay, and one more. Well, okay, there we go. 3 zip ties. I'm going to cinch these all nice and tight. Okay, nice. So that's together as tight as we're going to get it. I had to work an extra 3 hours yesterday, and my neighbor came up with his excavator and buried the culvert pipe without me. Very thankful of that. So whenever he put this in, he fixed the ditches so that it would drain really well, but the riffraff rock has been pulled out of its place. So I thought I would go back and toss that back in the ditch and prepare this for the next big rain. Also, he set aside the little bridge over here, and I want to get that back in place so we can walk across. Let me show you where he has the pipe here. So we have the drainage from the house, comes off the roof up here and just follows this path. We want it to come down in this ditch here over to the pipe, and it's sunk in there. I'm going to put a kind of a wall of rock over here to keep any flow from washing that side out. So then he's buried it over here 30 foot so that it's going to come out right over here. And you see where he's really dug the ditch down over here to get this flowing towards the creek. So once it gets past the telephone pole, it's deep enough that there won't be any issue out in there. So here's where it comes out on this side. And I'm just going to come back with all this riffraff and throw it back into the bottom of the ditch. And here's where we want the bridge to be across so that we can get over there. It's kind of surprising just how much of this riffraff there was in these ditches. Whoever built these years ago certainly spent a lot of money doing it. I want to see if the old bridge is going to make it across this gap here. I'm not entirely sure that it didn't have middle support on some rocks before, so hopefully we'll be able to span this with just the 2x4s that are under here. Let's see how it's going to do here. Yeah, not bad. Let me get some rocks to support under here. Yeah, good enough, I believe. So I'm going to put some rocks under the board so that it's not touching the ground. Okay, I'm thinking I've got some flat enough rocks here, like this one, that can support this. Oh. There's one. I was noticing that this side of the bridge seemed a little bit more rickety than the other, and so I flipped it over, all 600 pounds, and this board at some point has cracked. I don't know if my neighbor ran over it with a machine or not, but it definitely weakens things there. So I've just got this other board here. Simply span that broken spot and just put some 3-inch screws in there. Keep that from flexing as much. Let's give that a try. Ugh. I don't know. I'm not feeling much difference in the flex at that spot. Wonder if it'd be better to turn the board up long ways. I think I'm going to try that instead. Let's see what I can do here. I might get 2 of them in and then stagger the other 2. Okay, now let's try it. See if it's any better. Ugh. Oh yeah, big difference. Definitely was a problem with that busted board. Think that'll do. Now I'm back across the road and it's time to get some rocks put in over here. I figure these are the more important rocks because if a big rain were to hit now, it would pop through this hill eventually and just cause a big old mess of more erosion. We have certainly had enough of that lately. So I'm going to throw some rocks down here and then pile them up in a wall on this side to keep the water from hitting the dirt. That should hopefully prevent this from washing out anytime soon. I know you're not really supposed to throw rocks around in sandals, but it sure is hot otherwise. I say that, but as soon as I smash a toe, I'll change my mind, right? I believe that's enough playing in the rocks for one evening. Got this all situated here to have that nice wall of rocks over there. Everything slopes down towards the culvert pipe. Then if we go over here, got the bridge reinstalled, and so water will be able to come down the ditch normally here and then skirt around the pipe here. I think it'll be pretty good, and then it'll make its way on down to the creek down there. And as you can see, it's pretty deep in there, about 6 inches to a foot, as it makes its way on down that way. And then the creek, the bridge, the bridge here is fixed and sturdier than it was before, and looking good. That way I can get my lawnmower over there and won't have to worry about it dipping down into those rocks. They sure are happy to be outside. Thank you for joining me on this journey of trying to stop the water from eroding the road. Certainly hope it helps. Before, you may have watched the video where the water was going straight across the gravel drive over here and just washing it down into a trench, and all of our gravel that we just put in wound up over in the grass spot. So I'm thinking that stopping the water from going on the road that was coming from the house should make a big difference. We'll see on the next big rain, and I'll give you an update on how well this culvert is doing. Thanks for watching. If you have some great feedback on this video, please write that in the comments below. And as always, hit that thumbs up button to help the video's ranking in YouTube. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. I'm Seth Johnson, and I will see you next time. Bye.